Elon Musk has used illegal drugs, worrying leaders at Tesla, SpaceX.
The stock rally has stalled. Now comes earnings season. Congressional leaders reached deal on $1.6 trillion government spending levels for 2024. Google has introduced a new generative AI platform called Gemini, which appears to be promising in some aspects. Good news. Good news.
There is an app that allows restaurants and coffee shops to charge customers for using the bathroom, which goes against the trend of free public restroom access in the US. Bad news.
OpenAI is launching a store for GPTs, custom apps based on its text-generating AI models. Good news. Good news. Good news. A startup called Skyded is bringing a voice frequency absorber gadget to CES 2024. Neutral news.
Apple's Fitness Plus service is introducing new content, including sound meditation and a yoga program for golfers. Good news. Good news.
AI Google Gemini. Google has launched a new generative AI platform called Gemini. Although it appears promising, it is falling short in certain aspects.
Isomorphic Inc. deals with Eli Lilly and Novartis. Isomorphic Labs, a London-based spin-out of Google AI R&D division DeepMind, has entered into strategic partnerships with pharmaceutical companies Eli Lilly and Novartis. Building a viable pricing model for generative AI features could be challenging. Companies may struggle to find a pricing scheme that balances the value and cost of adding generative AI features. AI becoming standard for DevSecOps, harnessing AI for innovation, and delivering enhanced customer value will be crucial for staying competitive in the AI-driven marketplace.
Microsoft's AI add-on keyboards. Microsoft has placed an AI add-on keyboards, indicating their continued investment in AI technology.
JP Morgan has a good news for the biopharma sector. The upcoming JP Morgan Healthcare Conference in San Francisco will provide insights into what 2024 might hold for the industry. After a volatile 2023, thousands of stakeholders will gather to discuss and anticipate the trends and developments expected in the biopharma sector this year.
Allogene Therapeutics, a pharmaceutical company, has made important changes to its pipeline priorities. It has decided to discontinue 2 studies that were testing its blood cancer therapy, Cema-cel. This strategic decision aims to extend Allogene's financial runway until 2026. As part of this restructuring, the company will also cut 22% of its workforce.
Bluebird has secured a second outcomes-based coverage contract for its sickle cell gene therapy, which is good news for the company. The contract will cover approximately 200 million people in the United States, doubling the number of patients who will have access to the therapy.
FDA probes GLP-1 receptor agonists on reports of suicidal thoughts, hair loss. FDA has initiated an investigation into Novo Nordisk's Wegovy, Eli Lilly's Zepbound, and other GLP-1 receptor agonists. This probe has been triggered by complaints from patients who have experienced suicidal thoughts, hair loss, alopecia, and aspiration while using these medications.
Biospace is bringing together experts from Halia Therapeutics, Triumvira Immunologics, and the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation to discuss alternative financing strategies for the year 2024. This will provide valuable insights for companies and investors seeking funding opportunities in the biotech and pharmaceutical fields.
Layoffs in the biopharma industry have recently been announced. Intelia, Thermo Fisher, Era, and other companies are cutting their staff. Biospace will provide ongoing updates on these layoffs.
AbbVie has announced 2 agreements with Umoja Biopharma, which could potentially be worth up to $1.4 billion. This partnership will allow AbbVie to utilize Umoja's VivaVec delivery platform, which enables patient cells to produce CAR-T cells for fighting cancer. CAR-T cells are a type of immunotherapy that involves genetically modifying a patient's own T cells to recognize and attack cancer cells. This innovative approach has shown promising results in treating multiple types of cancers.
Lilly has good news because it has launched a direct-to-consumer website and services to support its weight loss drugs. This new digital healthcare platform aims to make it easier for consumers to access their weight loss drug Zepbound, along with other medications.
OnCusp Therapeutics has good news as it has raised $100 million in a Series A round of funding. The investors include Novo Holdings and OrbiMed. OnCusp Therapeutics is focusing on the antibody-drug conjugate market, which is currently in high demand.
CG Oncology has filed for an initial public offering, IPO, making it the first IPO filing of 2024. Based in California, CG Oncology is a company specializing in oncology treatments. Biotech and health, Harvard's robotic exoskeleton can improve walking and decrease falls in people with Parkinson's. Good news because it provides a potential solution to help individuals with Parkinson's improve mobility and reduce the risk of falls.
Pitch teardown, Pepper Bio's $65 seed deck, no specific company mentioned, not enough information to determine if it is good or bad news. How Dooley is shaking up the Indian sexual wellness market. Good news because Contraceptive Care platform is bringing innovative solutions to the Indian market.
MIT scientists are working on a vibrating obesity pill. Good news because the vibrating capsule shows potential in helping individuals manage obesity by simulating the sensation of being full.
Chinese AI startup DP Tekken sets sight on US. No specific company mentioned. Not enough information to determine if it is good or bad news.
1. Commerce the humane touch. More MVNOs are being minted than ever. This news is positive as it indicates the increasing popularity and growth of mobile virtual network operators, MVNOs. It suggests a thriving market and opportunities for new players in the industry.
2. SoftBank-backed FirstCry seeks to raise nearly $220 million in India IPO. This news is positive as it shows that FirstCry, India's biggest e-commerce platform for mother and baby products, is planning to raise a significant amount of funding through its initial public offering, IPO. This indicates investor confidence in the company and its potential for growth. 3. Once again, Etsy's layoffs come as no surprise. This news is negative as it highlights the layoffs happening at Etsy, suggesting that the company is facing challenges and potentially struggling. The mention of junkification in a viral tweet further emphasizes the negative sentiment around Etsy's current state.
4. EU's provisional deal on gig worker rights fails to get enough backing from member states. This news is negative, as it indicates that the European Union's provisional deal on gig worker rights did not receive sufficient support from member states. This setback suggests that gig workers' rights may not be adequately protected, leading to concerns about their working conditions and job security.
5. HomeCook's $3.2 seed deck. This news is positive as it highlights the successful fundraising efforts of HomeCooks, positioning itself as the Etsy of food. The seed funding of $3.2 million indicates investor confidence in the startup's business model and growth potential. Logan Paul promises CryptoZoo refunds, but with a condition of not suing him. Good news because customers who are unhappy with the failed game can get their money back. Talks of Bitcoin spot ETF approval circulate while India blocks exchange sites. Mixed news as the approval of Bitcoin spot ETF is positive, but the blockage of exchange sites in India is negative.
Crypto losses declined over 50% in 2023. Good news as it signifies a decrease in losses within the crypto industry.
Modestly crypto bullish in 2024 due to a mini crypto bull run. Good news for the crypto market as it indicates a positive trend.
Puma sticking to its Web3 bets and not leaving the crypto industry. Good news for Puma as they believe in the potential of Web3 and crypto.
Job gains accelerate has a good news. Their hiring has been healthy with an increase in payrolls by 216,000 and the unemployment rate remaining steady at 3.7%.
Stocks end rough week on high note has a bad news. The stock market experienced a challenging week, but managed to end on a positive note.
The future is bright if you know where to look. Has a good news. There have been advancements in artificial intelligence, medicine, and other areas that promise a better future.
Nation's top economists are short-term happy, long-term glum, has a mixed news. Academic economists are surprised and relieved by a soft landing, but worry about the future. De-risking China-reliant supply chains is creating new risks, has a bad news. The separation between the U.S. and Chinese economies is creating complexities and concerns.
The job market can stay strong without rekindling inflation, has a good news. A growing supply of workers is helping to balance the labor market without causing inflation.
Eurozone inflation rises, but less than expected, has a mixed news. Eurozone inflation rebounded in December, but fell short of consensus forecasts, which could lead to speculation about potential interest rate cuts.
Charlie Munger has a good news. His investing playbook can still work, even though he wasn't completely sure. Value investing may have struggled during the low interest rate era, but Munger believes investors should get used to making less while hunting for deals.
Early-stage fintech startups are receiving more funding sources, indicating good news for the industry.
Stripe's recent secondary stock sale suggests that investors are valuing the company higher than its previous valuation, which is positive news for Stripe. HSBC's launch of the Zing International Payments app to compete with fintech companies like Wise and Revolut highlights the company's effort to stay competitive in the market.
Exponent Founders Capital, led by industry veterans, secured $75 million in capital commitments, indicating positive growth and investment in early-stage startups.
Ruth Fox Blader, leaving Anthemis Group to start her own venture firm, Fox Capital, suggests potential positive developments in the fintech industry.
Startups Carta, the cap table management outfit, is accused of unethical tactics by a prominent startup. Bad news for Startups Carta, as they are facing allegations of unethical practices.
Tulsa's tech scene remains resilient amid the state's anti-DEI efforts. Good news for Tulsa's tech scene, as they are defying the state's anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts.
Early-stage fintech startups just got more funding sources. Good news for early-stage fintech startups, as they have access to more funding options.
A Stripe secondary deal worth paying attention to. Potentially good news for Stripe, as investors are showing interest and valuing the company higher than its recent valuation.
Korean micromobility startup G-Bike may buy up the competition before its 2025 IPO. Potentially good news for G-Bike, as they have the opportunity to acquire competitors before their IPO. Venture Carta, a cap table management outfit, is accused of unethical tactics by a prominent startup. Bad news. The company is facing accusations of unethical behavior, which can damage its reputation and trust among clients and investors.
Tulsa's tech scene remains resilient amid the state's anti-DEI efforts. Good news. Despite the anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion stance in Oklahoma, the tech scene in Tulsa is thriving, showing resilience and a commitment to diversity and inclusion.
Early-stage fintech startups just got more funding sources. Good news. The availability of new venture funds specifically targeting fintech startups can provide more opportunities for early-stage companies to secure funding and support their growth.
A Stripe secondary deal worth paying attention to. Good news. The recent secondary stock sale of Stripe indicates that investors see value in the company, potentially raising its overall valuation and prospects. Investors are optimistic about 2024. Good news. After a mediocre 2023, investors have a positive outlook for the coming year, anticipating increased exit and M&A activity, as well as a potential bounce back in the IPO market.